Hey everyone, how you doing today? It's your boy Nick Ruiz coming at you with another NBA 2K20 video. Today I got the top 5 shooting guard builds in NBA 2K20. I did the top 5 point guards a couple days ago. Now it's the shooting guard's turn. The shooting guard is the 2 position. The shooting guard has some of the greatest players in NBA history in that particular position, including the likes of Kobe Bryant, RIP, Michael Jordan, one of the GOATs, and Dwayne Wade, Miami Heat legend. Um, yeah, man, some of the greatest players of all time are at this position. And the shooting guard nowadays is mostly known as the position where it's like basically a catch and shoot type of position or a 3 and D type of position like that. Like the likes of a Klay Thompson maybe. That that's mostly known as a shooting guard nowadays. Is basically a sharpshooter type of player or a 3 and D. Some of them can finish really good, and James Harden, who's a point guard and plays shooting guard sometimes because Russell Westbrook's on the floor sometimes too. ISOs and does step back threes. So there's a lot of different types of variants of shooting guards in the NBA today. And in 2K20, because of the My Player build system, there's a bunch of different shooting guard builds you can make. So without further ado, let's get right into this video, okay? So real quick before we start, I have one honorable mention on this list. It's the pure sharpshooter, sharpshooting facilitator build. This build, I was debating putting it number 5 because there are some good people in the community, content creators that have this build that are really good on it. For example, Mario Mindset, dude's a beast and a goat on this build. But I just couldn't put it number 5 or on the list because it's too one-dimensional. Once people shut down this build, and if you get it, especially against a lockdown or some sort of lockdown build, and then they just won't get off this player's sack, this player's going to be stopped because all it can do is shoot. And it can't even do that very well. This year, the Sharp Facilitator is one of the worst shooting builds, if not the worst shooting builds to make. You have rebounding wings, you have shooting glass locks, you have two-way slash plays with 69 three-pointer, making threes and greening threes just as consistently as a sharpshooter. And also this year, as you know, as of today, it's July 23rd, 2020. Those who play hardcore 2K know that the past couple weeks, white releases have been going in like crazy, and it's not because 2K is trying to help us or anything. It's because the noobs who got the game and who have been getting the game for free the last couple weeks, they're not gonna keep playing if they don't hit their shots, because brown shirts, they can't time their release very good. So 2K made it so that they keep playing because they hit all their shots or some of their shots. So it makes us have to compete with brown shirts because you don't have to know how to time your release anymore. But especially before this like latest thing of whites going down, sharpshooters could barely hit whites. I know some sharps are gonna reply to this video and say they can hit whites. You're in the minority, bro. Sharp Facilitator is definitely the worst shooting build to make in this game. That's no disrespect to anyone that has one. Hell, I have one, and it's my worst build. So yeah, that's why the Sharp Facilitator is an honorable mention. It didn't make the actual list. Starting off with number 5 on my list, I have the two-way 3-level Facilitator. This is kind of a rare build, but you will see this on the park. There's at least 1 to 3 people with this build in every park server, I'd say. This build, even though it's one of those long build names that you wouldn't expect to be good, it's actually pretty good. It's a really good two-way build. It can defend, it can shoot the ball, it can finish when it needs to, it can handle the ball a little bit. This build is really good, man, and a lot of people wouldn't expect this build to be that good, but trust me, it's pretty good. And there's a lot of people in the community that use it too, because it can do a lot more than meets the eye. So that's why the two-way 3-level Facilitator is number 5 on my list. Coming in at number 4, I have what might surprise a ton of people is the rebounding guard, okay? Now this build is, again, it's pretty rare, especially nowadays when there's a lot of different variants of shooting guard builds you can make. But at the beginning of the year, when I was running into this build in 3v3 Pro-Am, because at the time, everyone knows in September the way to get park rep was to play 3v3 Pro-Am. So we would play 3v3 pro, and we would get against the rebounding guard or rebounding wing, and we would think, oh, there's rebounding in his name, just leave him open, he can't shoot. Nope, they can green their shots, and they can shoot consistently. In fact, they get a pretty high three-pointer, around the 70s or high 70s, and if you don't max the wingspan, probably around an 83-pointer. So this build can definitely shoot consistently, but it's like I said at the beginning of the year, when you've seen a build like this, it says rebounding guard. You'd expect it to be a great rebounder, which it is, but it's actually Catfish two-way sharpshooting rebounding defender. You know, like it's a Catfish two-way shooter build. It's basically like kind of like a Klay Thompson. Obviously, Klay Thompson's three-point rating would be really high, like in the 90s. This build doesn't get a 93-pointer, but like I said, in 2K20 playing online, you don't need more than a 65 will do you justice. This build gets around a 70 or 80, so this build is really good, man, and it catfished my squad a lot at the beginning of the year, so that's why it's at number 4 on my list. At number 3, I have, this might surprise people again, the scoring machine. A lot of people have this build. This build wasn't as common in the beginning of the year, but now you see this build everywhere. What's there to say, man? This build can do a lot more than it meets the eye. It can score in any way possible, basically. Some players find a way to play defense with it. Not Hall of Fame defensive badges at all, but you can play defense if you upgrade defense on this build. And yeah, man, like I said, it can just score. It's an offensive juggernaut. Really, really good scoring build to use. And if you were going to try and replicate a Kobe Bryant build and try to make Kobe, I think this build would do you justice, man. This build would help. This is one of the builds that would replicate Kobe Bryant, RIP. So yeah, man, that's why scoring machine is number 3 on my list. Next up at number 2, I have the perimeter lockdown, green and red pie chart shooting guard, maybe 6'5", 6'6", maybe even 6'7" if you wanted. This build is basically a 3-and-D player. It's really similar to the two-way 3-level facilitator and the rebounding guard, but you know, the perimeter lock is just a really good defensive build to have. Depending on how you make it, it can be kind of balanced actually. I remember testing this build a little bit earlier this year. There's a bunch of ways to make it. You could probably get away with having 3 to 6 finishing, maybe like 16 to 18 shooting, I think 20, 21 defensive, and maybe 6 or 9 playmaking maybe. I don't know like what the ramifications are for that build, but I do know it's a really good shooting and defensive type build, and you can like mix around the playmaking and finishing attributes to make it a little more well-rounded. But just know this build can clamp anyone on the court. This build can be seen at the shooting guard and small forward, and sometimes even point guard, but as you know, point guard, the best defensive build to make it a two-way finisher. Even though it can't shoot, it's still better than a perimeter lock point guard. But at shooting guard, the perimeter lock is such a good build to make, man. I think if you're all looking for a summer build, it's a pretty good build to start with. I'd recommend it because it's a very solid build. It can shoot threes, defend, play make. Sometimes it can finish when it needs to. So, yeah, man, that's why the perimeter lockdown is number 2 on my list of shooting guards. And finally, coming in at the number 1 spot, what is the number 1 shooting guard build in NBA 2K20? In my opinion, it is the two-way pass-first guard, aka the playmaking lockdown build. People call it the Playlock, okay? This build can be found in the stage. Now, you see the name, two-way pass-first guard. You think, oh, this build's garbage. This build's trash. Wrong. This is a sleeper build. This is a playmaking lockdown build. It's the comp Playlock build that people can find in the stage. And, yeah, man, it's the Hall of Fame playmaking, Hall of Fame defensive. Can shoot lights out, actually. Very similar to the two-way slash play where they have a kind of low three-pointer, but they can still shoot deadly from lights out. And then you just upgrade the driving dunk and driving layup, and you'll be good. You'd be fine with 1 finishing badge, but again, there's so many ways to create this build too. This build is really toxic. It's so toxic that people on the stage find themselves running this with one of the most popular lineups in the stage is double and triple playlocks, and there's a reason being. I just told you what this build is capable of. Hall of Fame defensive badges. These builds, there's a guard and a wing version, and a little bit of a spoiler, I will be talking about the wing version in the small forwards video that I do next time. But I'm telling you, man, this build is good as a guard too, and that's why I think that the two-way pass first guard, aka the Playlock, is the best shooting guard position in NBA 2K20. Some of you may disagree, but if you do disagree, that's fine, man. This was my opinion. What's your opinion on the top 5 shooting guard builds in NBA 2K20, man? Let me know in the comment section below. But that's all I have for you guys today, man. It's been your boy Nick Ruiz. I love you guys. Please like, comment, and sub if you're new for new content. I don't really post daily, but I am trying to create a consistent schedule. August should be a more consistent schedule. Looking into start streaming again soon. I love you guys. It's been your boy. Please stay safe during this COVID-19 time. Love you all. Peace out, man. Peace.